Let's go to Cincinnati and Buffalo, two teams that I think we can both agree are leaking oil. But here's the thing, in my estimation, whether Buffalo is laying the 5.5 or say if it closes at 6-5, what have you, there's more pressure on the Bills to get to the Super Bowl than Cincinnati, because Cincinnati did it last year when they had no expectations. I look at Buffalo, tighten up a little bit. Maybe you get those bad picks again from Josh Allen. I can see this as a fourth quarter game. I'm leaning towards Cincinnati and the points.
So I love Cincinnati. They were my preseason pick to reach the Super Bowl in the AFC. I've been riding them all season, saying how underrated and disrespected they are. Rich, this is the first time I'm going against Cincinnati, and I'm changing my pick to reach the Super Bowl. And here's why. I alluded to it before. The Bengals are probably going to be without 3 of their starting offensive linemen. La'el Collins already out. He's already on injured reserve. Alex Capper got hurt last week. Jonah Williams got hurt last week. So far, looking at the injury report, it's treading toward they probably won't be playing. That creates a huge problem for the Bengals. Joe Burrow is not a mobile quarterback. He's not like a Daniel Jones that's going to scramble. If you don't give him enough time, he's going to sit in the pocket. He's going to take the sack. He led all quarterbacks in sacks taken last year. I think that's going to be a problem against Buffalo's front seven. I think it's going to be a huge problem. And with that being said, I think Buffalo got their bad game out of the way against Miami. It was just nothing but messy. Josh Allen threw a couple picks, lost a few fumbles. It didn't look good at all. I think that they got that out of their system. I think that Sean McDermott will have them more polished, more tightened up this week. So I'm actually going to lay the points with the Bills. And I hate to say it because I love the Bengals, but without those offensive linemen, this is going to be a different Bengals team that I think is going to be the struggle to move the ball.
Yeah, those are fair points when you're talking about the number and the game as a whole. The only thing I would counter with that, I think people are still going on the DeMar Hamlin element where that it's a wonderful story, right? But that doesn't win football games. That can inspire, but at the end of the day, it's the X's and O's. And to your point with the line and Burrow, I think this is a game for Joe Mixon.
True.
I definitely can see 20, 25 touches, maybe get him bubble screen passes out of the backfield. If this is a fourth quarter game, man, you got to think the Bills are going to tighten up. Think of some of those horrible plays by Josh Allen. And maybe you're right. If Miami isn't, if they're not smoking and joking and vaping on the sideline and paying attention to the play clock and late in that game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
They could have won that game. And I don't know if the blueprint was laid out or if it was just, as you mentioned, Buffalo, the emotions, get it out of your way. And in this situation too, this also has the makings, in my opinion, of special teams, maybe a late field goal. And I would lean towards Cincinnati in that regard. I think it would be a huge franchise win for them on the road with everything at stake. I still believe the pressure's on Buffalo, man. And what happens? You get tight, you squeeze, and then sometimes you make mistakes. But you like Buffalo laying the points.
I do. And you also have to wonder if Buffalo took Miami seriously last week because they had Skylar Thompson, the third stringer. You wonder if they might have overlooked it. Josh Allen might have made some throws he wouldn't have normally made. The defense might have been sleeping on it because Skylar Thompson had a terrible game. It was the Buffalo Bills' mistakes that kept Miami in the game. So I think that they got it out of their system. I would not be surprised at all if the Bengals not only cover, but pull off the upset. But right now, as of this recording, if I'm looking at 3 offensive linemen now, I just can't trust Joe Burrow to be able to get it done. And I love Joe Burrow, and also, how many times can the Bengals pull it off on the road? They had to win every road playoff game last year, and this year, you mentioned if the Dolphins aren't smoking joints on the sidelines and actually got that fourth down playoff, that we have a different story. Well, the same thing could be said about the Bengals. If Tyler Huntley doesn't try to pull a Trevor Lawrence and fumble at the line, that's a totally different game. Then the Ravens are up 24-17.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Ally Miielnicki joining us at Zensports, Nothing But Locks podcast. Check them out online. And of course, don't forget also at Zensports and NBL podcast as well on Twitter. That's actually a very fascinating point you bring up. And that's just horrible play calling at the